Hello and welcome to the kickoff video for the 13.11 release for the managed stage. Today I'll be presenting what the group import has ready for 13.11, and Larissa will be presenting the optimized groups plan. So I'll go ahead and start with the import features. We were able to move only a few things since last time we recorded this on our journey to completing the new group migrations. So if you remember, I will share now just to make sure that everybody sees the same thing that I see. This is always we were working on this epic to migrate epics as part of the group migration. And we have completed several of the large chunks. Since last time, since 13.10, we were able to add epic events and also do a lot of refactoring that will help us migrate the more complex objects and the more nested objects. So we kind of had to pause on delivering some of the functionality in order to refactor and be technically ready to now complete this epic. If you see, this epic actually has 17 issues in it, so it is a large epic to migrate epics. What's really left to be done are the epic comments with emojis. So any comments that we have on the epics with their emojis, as well as the epic notes. So once that's completed, this feature will be done, and we're going to then look at the overall, the parent epic for this, which is the ability to migrate the entire group, which would give us parity, feature parity with the current group export import. So once the epics are being migrated, we have several issues that we need to get through in order to complete this. So this will pretty much be the flavor of what group import is going to work on for the next several milestones. So that's pretty much the large chunks. Of course, in addition to this, we do get a lot of support things, take care of some bugs and security issues as needed, but this is the feature work we'll be working on. Hope this makes sense. If there's no questions, next up is Larissa. I will stop my share and Larissa will unmute and tell us what optimize up.
Thanks, Harris. I did have one question that I didn't get a chance to write in the doc, but first of all, it's really nice to see some of those red crosses turning into green check marks. And I was curious with the migrating comments on epics and their emojis, is that for migrating from a self-managed GitLab instance to .com, or do some of the other systems that we are importing from have emojis on comments similar to GitLab does?
So this particular large feature is all about migrating groups from one instance of GitLab to another. And this is from self-hosted into GitLab.com, from like GitHost into either another self-managed environment or into GitLab, or even going from GitLab.com or self-managed into a private. So any GitLab to any other GitLab that can see each other on the wire is going to be able to use this to just stream all the data about the group across. And that includes the milestones, the epics, the epic details, epic comments, epic comment emojis. And it gets really, it gets to be sometimes 4 or 5 different nested levels of things that we have to migrate. And that means serialize it on one end, send across the wire, then deserialize it and recreate that group on the other side. And there's really no other way to do that other than just kind of this tedious way of just making sure that every little thing makes the cross. And every small step, it does become an issue. So we do have a lot to take care of. Other systems do, so we do, like our other importers are from GitHub, Bitbucket, several other places, and we don't get epics from any other place. We will migrate issues, projects, repos, milestones, and some of the other objects from GitHub, Bitbucket, and others, but none of them actually we use. None of them will give us epics. So most of them really don't have epic or have their rudimentary support through those. So epics are really something that we have that's better than some of the other places, and this is just really related to GitLab.
Great, so many things to think about.
Yes, it's so easy to forget something too.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I will share my screen now and go over the optimized plan for 1311.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing that.
Okay. So we made some really good progress on value stream navigation in 1310. As you can see here, the vertical navigation tiles have been removed, and we are now using the horizontal navigation. And this gives us a lot more space on the page to do things with this table, and also move some of these charts further up on the screen. One of the upcoming things that we're going to do with this, actually this table isn't a table yet, but that's one thing that rolled over from 1310 to 1311, is making this an actual table with sortable columns. We're also picking up some back-end work to add an average time in stage column here. So right now, this time column is based on the median, and a lot of other areas within value stream actually use the average time that things are in a stage. So we're going to be adding the average time as well here. That'll be a few more releases off for the front end probably, but we're doing the back end work. And then another thing coming up in 1311 is, alongside the stage in the value stream, we will be showing the total stage time next to the name of the stage. Then we are going to start on the back-end work to enable pagination within this table. Right now, we only show, I think it's 20 total issues, which could just be such a small fraction of the actual number of issues that you have in this stage. And so it's going to be a lot more meaningful when we're able to display more of those, and you can sort by the items that have been in the stage for the longest or shortest time. And another nice little thing that I'm really excited about is it can be difficult to really know how a stage is defined in your value stream. And in 1310, we did the back end work. In 1311, we'll do the front end work to add the start event and stop event right at the top of the table for each stage. So you can really easily see what that stage actually is measuring. That's an MVC. In a future iteration, we plan to make that a little tooltip when you hover over the stage name. So they're the main highlights for value stream analytics. And then for the DevOps adoption table, we're going to continue working on adding the DevOps adoption table to the group level. So right now it's still only available as an instance level feature on self-managed instances, and adding it to the group level will make it a lot more accessible. by other users. And the you'll see it show up here. Actually, I'm in a project right now. Okay, so here in the group view, you'll see the DevOps adoption menu item show up here in the analytics left nav. And Harris, it looks like you have some questions.
Yes, I do. So first of all, there's a lot of progress this time. So finally got rid of that left nav column. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yes.
and it's gone. So that's good. Now you could start building up what really needs to be there across the top. So I was curious about the pagination, and do you have selected a default page size? Right now it's just 20, which means like top 20 is going to get shown and that's it. Is there going to be a default page size for when you introduce pagination? So how much will you show on that page?
That's a good question. I can't remember what we decided on there. I want to say 30, but I might just be making that up.
There seem to be some standards or quasi standards across the application that I came across when I was looking at pagination. And I found out that 20 seems to be the default page size for most of or all the tables that I was able to find that have pagination. So even though the backends, I believe, support up to 100. So the backend should not return more than 100 on one page, and that is for counter security purposes. You really don't want anybody to be able to pull a huge amount of data and slow down the system. So for performance, they do limit the backend to 100. So what I've done in a table that we recently implemented was implemented a selectable page size. So default was 20, but you can say, show me 50 or show me 100. So you could see like pages of 20, 50 or 100, which was the max that the backend would support. And we felt like that was a great improvement to the user experience. So you may want to consider some of that and just kind of staying within the standards, or maybe adopting the standard we just started, which is let the user select how big of a page they want to see, and remember that option for them.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Can you say again what options you gave?
So the option for page size that we selected were 20, 50, and 100. So 20 was the default, which kind of was aligned with the defaults on all the other tables. But our additional user experience was to allow the user to then override it and say, well, instead of 20, show me 50 or show me 100. So they could select how big of a page. And then it means like each page would go by 100. So you see the first 100, the second 100, the third 100, if you select the largest page. And it was easier to see large amount of data because we had some of the projects that we were looking at migrating could have even thousands of different projects or sub-projects in them. So listing that 20 at a time was really ugly. And then we looked into, we also looked into lazy load, or just kind of continuous infinite load. And that experience, while it sounds cool, when you really try to use it, it does not work as well either.
Yeah, we had considered that and ended up going with pagination.
Yeah, it seems like that's probably the best. But then, allowing the user to have larger pages is kind of a compromise between the lazy load and just really small page that we have as a standard.
Yeah, I like that selection. I'm sorry, that suggestion.
Sure. So my other comment was about switching from medians to average, and thank you for that. I did try using VS, and I had to ask, like, why is my average, and I would call it average, right? Why is my average 0? Like, there's just no way it's 0. Well, it's because I have half of my values are zeros and half of them something else, but the median value is going to be the 0, and it's not informative at all if you have large sets that are so not well distributed, right?
Yeah, that's the problem with median. Is it's really nice to exclude the outliers if you only have a few outliers.
Or if they're on both sides.
Right, exactly. But as soon as you have a lot of zeros or a lot of outliers the other way, it's not as meaningful. It can be really confusing.
Yeah, so I really like where they're going with that.
Good.
And finally, thanks for showing the start-stop events. That was also not clear. It's like just understanding like what is the definition of this. I thought I defined this as such and such, and I can't believe these are the numbers. So I start questioning myself as far as like how did I define this stage? What were my events? So just showing those right there would really dispel a lot of the like. It'd be easy for me to see if either I've misconfigured it or there's a different problem with the data, or maybe the data is right and it's just telling me a story I don't believe.
Yeah, we found when we went through and looked at the usability of value stream analytics that there are quite a few things where you have to really go and read the documentation to figure out what's going on, and we want to put more and more of that in to the tooltip so you don't have to reference the documentation as much.
I love that because people do not read documentation. I never went and read document. I was just trying to fight the page, but I did not open documentation.
Yeah. Okay.
So one data
Validation.
point.
Yeah.
One data point. The person did not find the documentation.
Thanks for all the great feedback.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So I believe that is all for the stage. I believe Melissa will record her own kickoff, and others may as well. So this time around, it's just the two of us. Hopefully next time we'll have a larger managed participation together.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.